and happy Make It Monday, all my stampers out there in Stampin' Land. This is Laura Buechler from Inkyfingers Papercrafting, and I'm so glad that you're joining me live or on replay for another Make It Monday. We are going to make such a cute little card today using some items from the Zoo Crew suite. Check this out. Isn't this adorable? Oh yeah, we're making a wobble spring. It's happening. But before we get started with that, I want to remind you, make sure you stick around till the end of the video because we're going to give away one of these cards. Okay, and all you have to do to be entered to win this week's card is share this week's video and make sure that you put a comment below telling me that you've done that because Facebook doesn't always show me who has shared. So let's get into it. I've been excited to show off these items from the Zoo Crew suite, and I know you are excited to see them too. So these are all from the beautiful new annual catalog. And before we get started on how to make this card, I have to show you this gorgeous paper. This is the Zany Zoo designer series paper. And look at all these adorable, charming, busy animals doing all these adorable things, right? I mean, you just can't get enough. There's so many awesome things that these animals are doing. And they're all, I love the way they're colored, but they're not like all colored. Like, look at this little ostrich here. Just the skates and some of the feathers and the beak are colored, and that's it. With the bunny, only the scooter is colored. And then the bunny is not colored. So I think that's really fun. You could, of course, add more color with your own coloring tools, but you don't have to. Okay, so much fun, this paper. I know I haven't even shown you the stamp set yet. I'll get to that in a minute. Look at these ones. They're camping. This one's toasting marshmallows. This one's taking photos. This one's going on a hike. I love it. Bird watching. Cute little trees. Catching butterflies. These ones are performing. I mean, how many different animals doing so many awesome, adorable, and yes, zany things. This is a bear playing an accordion. I never knew that I needed to see a bear playing an accordion, but I did. I absolutely did. And a warthog playing banjo and a beaver playing bongos. I mean, okay, so the back side of the paper is super fun too. I found it very hard. I did use a little bit of this backside in my card today, and it's very hard because I don't want to cut up any of these adorable animals. I will tell you more about the paper as we get going through with our card today, but I know I need to get started because that's how it is. We got to get started with this gorgeous card, right? Okay, so here are all my supplies I've got ready to do what we need to do today. And I'm going to start by doing a little bit of die cutting with my little, with my little mini machine. All right, let's do that. So we've got a little bit more room. Now, you might notice this is right from the designer series paper. The sample card that I showed you here, I stamped the alligator, or maybe it's a crocodile, I don't know. I stamped it and I did a little bit of coloring, but the dies also work on several of the images in the designer series paper. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut that out, and I'm going to cut out a couple other things as well to get us started. Okay, so here's our beautiful Zany Zoo set. These are all the stamps that come in there. And then there's a ton of dies. I'm not kidding, a ton. A ton of dies. All these animals and then all these other fun shapes as well. So I'm going to cut out my, if anybody knows whether it's an alligator or a crocodile, please put that in the comments. I do know how to tell the difference. I don't know if you know, but there is a way to tell the difference between an alligator and a crocodile. It's one will see you later and one will see you in a while. So that's how you know, folks. Okay. So I've also got a die from the Stylish Shapes, and I'm cutting that out to use for my sentiment. There we go. Cute little stitched stylish shape. And there is my fabulous crocodile / alligator. And I have one more piece I need to die cut. And that is, oh, it's not going to fit on this machine. That's okay. I've got my full-size Susie standing by. Okay, let's tuck this over here. Come on in, Susie. It's your time to shine. Susie, S-U-C-E, stands for Stampin' Up, Cut, and Emboss Machine. So I call her Susie. And we are going to cut this piece of Pool Party with, where's all my pieces going? It's probably right under here. Nope. Oh my gosh, I'm knocking things on the floor while I'm searching for it. That's going to cause me a problem later. But it's okay. We'll just take a deep breath, carry on. We're cutting this out with a shape from the Scalloped Contours dies. They are in constant use here in my craft room. In fact, I used, I think, the exact same one last week for this card. They're just one of those sets that you absolutely have to have. And I have good news. You can buy them for your very own at inkyfingers.ca. Yes, you can. Make sure that you use the current Hostess code, which you'll find on my website, and you'll get an extra gift from me to thank you for your order. All right, I am taking a moment to pick up all the important little pieces that I dropped because we're going to need them later, and you're going to look at them and go, what on earth are we going to do with those? But trust me, there's a plan. There's a method to my madness. Okay. So we've got this, we've got this, we've got this, we've got our die cutting done. I do have some embossing to do. I've got some little strips of some adorably bright colors. Actually, I guess they're less bright than they are pastel. I feel like the colors in this suite would go really well for baby cards. Not that you have to use them for baby cards, but when I started playing with this color palette, I thought, oh yeah, babies. And I have a feeling when I show you the next piece that I'm about to do, you're going to feel the same way too. So I have got my Basics Polka Dot 3D embossing folder, and I'm going to pop these 3 strips inside my folder and add my embossing plate on top and crank that through the machine. Now, when I show this to you, you tell me, does that look like it's ready for a baby card or what? Right? So flippin' cute. Okay. Thank you for your service, Susie. You can stand down. All right, now we've got a piece of white cardstock, a piece of that charming DSP. See, it's got the cute animals on the other side. I've just got this cool black and white pattern here for a bit of contrast. And we've got a card base in one of the awesome new colors. This is Lemon Lime Twist. And got all my die cut bits. All I need to do now is stamp my sentiment, and then I'm ready to assemble my card. So I'm using Something Great to Celebrate You, which is a cute little sentiment. And of course I left my ink over on the shelf. we go. Okay. So I'm going to stamp this in black ink on my banner shape that I cut out. Fun. That font really looks like it's from a comic book. Really suits these adorable little characters. Okay. Now I'm ready to assemble this part of the card. The wobble spring is going to come later. But let's get started with this. And while I'm assembling these bits, I want to answer a maybe frequently asked question. Someone just asked me this the other day, and I thought, oh my goodness, maybe I don't talk about this enough. So someone asked me, I love watching your videos. They're great. I always get lots of ideas, lots of tips. Do you teach classes? Oh my goodness, my friends. Do I teach classes? I teach virtual classes online. I teach in-person classes at my house. I even teach free classes. So yes, I teach classes. I teach lots and lots of classes. And the short answer is you can find all the info on my classes by going to inkyfingers.ca. But while I'm putting this card together, I'll tell you a little bit about my classes. Next week, next Monday, May 15th, I have my in-person classes coming up right here in Nanaimo in my house. And everyone who comes is going to get to make 3 cards with the supplies that I have cut and prepared and got ready. And I'm going to teach everyone how to make 3 awesome cards using products from the new annual catalog. Notice how I'm not sticking this down really hard right now. I'm just kind of laying it here. I don't want to stick it down all the way until I've figured out where my rectangle is going to line up. So I'm just kind of playing with it. And guess what? This one is too long. It needs a trim. Let's trim this down. Always harder to trim things once they're all sticky, but I'll manage. Okay, so yes, when you come to a class at my house, if you've never stamped with me before, the cost is free. After that, it's only $10 each. Or if you place an order of $20 or more, class is back to being free again. Look at this. This one needs to be trimmed too. Tut tut. There we go. One of the things I love about paper crafting, by the way, is there are very few mistakes that you cannot fix. Hey, Maury, thanks for joining me. Nice to see you, friend. Okay, so as I said, you can find the schedule for my classes at inkyfingers.ca. Check out my classes. I'm taking signups right now for May 15th classes. I have one at 10 a.m. and one at 7, I think it's 7 p.m. It's either 7 or 7:30. And if neither of those dates or times works for you, you can put that on the registration form. And then I always contact the people who have said, I want to come, but this date doesn't work. I contact them and see if we can figure out another date. So I'd love to craft with you. If you are in Nanaimo or nearby, come and craft with me next Monday. It'll be just like this, but in person. And you'll get to do the crafting instead of just me. Okay, so we've got our sentiment, we've got our bicycle riding friend, and I think what I want to do, I want to find a way to work the ribbon in here, because there's really cute ribbon that comes with this suite. Comes in a combo pack. One is petal pink, and it's got this lovely texture to it. I don't know if you can see that. I'm running my fingers along it, and it makes my tactile brain very happy. And then there's this awesome lemon lime twist ribbon that's got white stitches running through it. Oh, come on, camera, focus. There you go. Beautiful. right? So I don't know. I want to find a place to put this. I feel like if I put the sentiment up here, maybe I can put a little bow down here. Or maybe like that, like that. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, let's do that. It's improv today, starring Laura. I did that so fast and I did it off camera. That wasn't fair. Okay, this is how I tie a bow. I make a little loop and I make another little loop and I push that loop underneath. I'm tying a knot with the loops, just like we would do with our shoelaces, right? And because it's still on the roll, I know I love this ribbon too. So now I can play with it and make the loops as small as I want them to be. And I do want them to be pretty small. Okay. And then I can just go ahead and cut it off. There we go. Maury, are you going to hang out with me while I show you how to make a wobble spring? I wasn't sure if I was going to show it on camera, but I'm feeling bold today. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Okay, so we're going to put that right down there. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Look at that. Ta-da! Okay, and our sentiment is going to go up here. Oh my gosh, there's stuff all over my desk, y'all. Everywhere. I'm making such a huge mess today. Shanna wants to see. Oh, Shanna, have you made a wobble spring before? I have done it before, but not for years, so it was quite fun to remind myself how it works. Let's see. I was actually trying to see. You used to be able to buy wobble springs from Amazon, but I think the company that was doing that has closed or gone out of business or something. I was looking for them yesterday and didn't really seem to exist. You buy them, Shanna. Please tell me where. Please tell me where. You can't buy them from Stampin' Up, so it's not competition. It's totally okay. All the things that we're going to use to create the wobble spring are all non-Stampin' Up things. So, okay. So, this is my card as it exists without the wobble spring and without, with the Stampin' Up products that I have used. And they are fabulous. Ooh, you get them at Michael's. You know, the Michael's in Nanaimo does not carry them. What the heck? I'm glad yours does. Maybe I'll have to make a trip out to visit you. Okay, so let's make a wobble spring. It's going to look like that. Isn't that fun? I see now as I'm looking at this, I didn't do a very good job of centering my my strips here and my rectangle, but I still think it's cute. No problem. Okay, so here are all the non-Stampin' Up items I'm going to use to create my wobble spring. I have got this funky little hole punch, which does like a pinhole. So you could probably use a push pin or something. I've got 4 circles that I punched out. These were actually punched out with a retired Stampin' Up punch. It's a 3/4 inch circle punch. And I'm going to use some wire cutters. Oh, there we go. I'm going to use some wire cutters. And I'm going to use some floral wire, which I did buy at Michael's. And if you're going to do this, you want the 30 gauge wire, not the 28 gauge. The 28 gauge will be too strong and you won't be able to bend it. Oh, Shanna, a care package. You're a delight. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We've got our 4 circles. Oh, and the one Stampin' Up thing I am going to use is our tear and tape. Okay, so I'm going to start by taking 2 of my circles and punching a little pinhole in them. Okay, in approximately the center. And I'm going to get my tear and tape. I'm going to put tear and tape on the other circles where I did not put a pinhole. Okay. And I'm going to put it on the ones with a pinhole, and I'm going to try to go over the pinhole. But you know what? No, I did that wrong. I'm going to take that off. Pretend you never saw that. Just pretend you never saw that. Laura never makes mistakes. No, 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 certainly not. Okay. Now I've got tear and tape stuck to my thumb. Here we go. Floral wire, which I have never used for its intended purpose. I'm going to use a pencil, which is also not from Stampin' Up. And I'm going to wrap the wire around the pencil. Try not to poke myself. Like, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 times until we've got a bunch of coils. Okay, slide it off and leave a little bit of extra and snip. Okay, so I'm going to take the one that has a hole and poke the wire through the hole. Now I need my tear and tape. I know this is such a finicky little business, but the result is very cool. So I have put the wire through the hole and then put some tape over it to hold the wire in place. And now I can snip off the extra. Okay. Now I'm going to take the other one that has a hole. There it is. And I'm going to thread it through the other end. And I'm going to put some tape on there. To hold that in place. There we go. It's looking like a spring now, right? It makes a very pleasing little buzz sound too. Okay. So I'm peeling the tear and tape backing off. And it's not being cooperative. There we go. And then on each side, I'm going to put another circle, one that doesn't have a hole. Now we're just sticking that right on top. So there we go. We've got 2 circles, a springy wire, and 2 circles again. And now what we need to do is remove the tear and tape here and here and attach one end to the card and one end to our reptile, which we still have not determined what kind of reptile it is, other than a very adorable one who knows how to ride a bike. And we plop that down there. And there it is. Boing, boing, boing. So that is how you make a wobble spring. Pretty cool, right? And this is your demonstration of the adorable Zoo Crew suite, at least one of them. And if you'd like to come and craft in person with the Zoo Crew suite, you can come and craft with me next week at my house. If you are not local to Nanaimo and you'd like to check out some of my classes, I would love for you to check out my online classes on my website, inkyfingers.ca. And we have Zoom stamping happening next Tuesday night, not tomorrow night, but next Tuesday night. And we're going to be learning how to make a really cool fancy fold card. So we'd love for you to join us on Zoom. Okay, now I told you to stick around to the end because we're going to give away one of these cards. These are the ones that we made last week. with the bright and beautiful designer series paper. And we're going to give away the card to one of the people who shared the video, and that is Regina. So congratulations, Regina. I'll be sending you a message. You can let me know whether you'd like the Azure Afternoon card or the Berry Burst card, and I'll be popping it in the mail to you. And as for you watching today, whether live or on replay, don't forget that if you share this week's video and leave me a comment that you've shared, you will have a chance to win one of these awesome cards that we made today, one of these wonderful wobbly cards. So make sure that you share the video and make sure that you go check out my classes on inkyfingers.ca. And have a great week, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for Make It Monday, and I hope to see you next week. Bye. Happy stamping.